One Piece chapter 1016. I'm gonna tell you right now that I think this chapter was better than the last one. Now, judging by the interesting responses I've gotten in the last video, you guys proved to me that you are weak. So, I'm gonna tell all the weaklings out there right now, leave. Dislike the video and leave. Because what you showed me is that you can't handle a negative opinion on something. I have my own reasons for not liking the chapter as much, and you can have your own reasons for why you like the chapter. If you did, all the power to you. I'm not gonna stop you. I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm gonna stay true to myself. I'm not gonna be one of those people that's gonna be like, oh my god, go with a 10 out of 10 chapter. Every chapter is a 10 out of 10. No, it's not. First of all, by saying that, you're saying that every chapter is like chapter 1010, which is false. I could have easily just said that chapter was a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, or an 8 out of 10, and I would have gotten so many likes and views. Look, I'm not gonna lie to myself. If you don't like that, then too bad. Dislike the video and just leave. So go on, dislike the video and leave. I'm giving you time right now. Go ahead. Alright, great. Now that the weaklings are gone, welcome everybody to my review for chapter 1016 of One Piece. As spoiler alert, I think this was a good chapter. Even though nothing significant or major happened, I still like the content that was there. For the cover request, we see Zoro and a cat dodging spears within an attic, and you know, it's kind of funny seeing this because we don't usually see Zoro in this ninja-esque kind of outfit, and I thought it was interesting because this scene actually reminds me of that anime filler scene where Daikoku was stabbing the attic where Nami and Shinobu were, you know, scurrying about in Orochi's mansion. And what's an even bigger coincidence is that Nami made like a cat sound to ward off Daikoku's attention, and we see cat here, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't think it has any significance. Maybe it's like a trope or something. But I digress. On to the actual chapter now. So, I think this is it. I think this is the calm before the storm. I think this is the last time we're going to cut back to the mainland of Wano and see everybody's reaction to having the fire festival and everything. Oblivious that we're having this raid right now and that Onigashima is looming closer and closer to the flower capital. Oda is not only writing this to remind the viewers of what's at stake, but also to build up that great moment of contrast and realization when they see Onigashima looming above their heads and, you know, come to the realization of what's actually going to transpire there. What I'm really interested about is how the citizens will exactly react to seeing a giant floating island above their heads. I'm assuming it's going to be chaos, but I want to see how they exactly like come to the realization that, oh shit, this thing's about to drop. Now, surprisingly, we see Hitetsu and Toko there, and that kind of caught me off guard because that kind of diminishes the possibility of Onigashima actually dropping. And that's unfortunate because I doubt Oda will kill them off like that. Now, in the anime, we do see Tenguyama actually fly with his wings for a brief period of time. So maybe he could fly Toko out of there, but I'm not sure what the purpose of them even being there would be if they're just gonna make an appearance and run away. So we'll see what happens with that, but I was glad to see them again. Speaking of surprising reappearances, we see CP0 again, and I'm still wondering what their overall big goal in this arc is actually gonna be. I doubt Oda's just gonna put them there to give exposition on like the situation at hand. So what will happen when one of either pirate groups go down? Will they take action then? What kind of action will they take? All questions that I think will be answered very soon. But I think the time is upon us now. Slowly but surely, the tides are switching towards the Alliance's favor. But I think Oda is building up this false sense of hope just to bring it all down in the end. Because if you think about it, this arc hasn't been... how do I say this? It hasn't been the most serious, considering what's at stake. Yes, we've had like 3 or 4 deaths, but look at everybody's reactions. Like, how they act and everything, it doesn't feel like this is the big climactic showdown that we were all expecting. The only characters who are really serious are the scabbards, and you could feel the emotion and tension in every scene they're in because of that. But looking at everybody else, it doesn't seem like anybody is taking the situation all that seriously. And because of that, I just don't feel the same tension that I would in, say, Marineford or Enies Lobby. Which is why I'm an advocate for the raid failing. I don't want this to be the final showdown. We haven't even gotten a single proper fight outside of the things on the rooftop. We need to see more, and Nami was robbed of her fight already, and Usopp as well, so I'm hoping that this isn't the end. Switching to Nami and Zeus now. Oh boy, okay. Well, okay, I'll say this. Surprisingly, very surprisingly, this did not bother me as much as I thought it would. Yes, I do not like, you know, the whole Zeus situation to begin with and Nami having Zeus or whatever, but I've come to accept it now. He's part of the group, he's gonna stay, so it is what it is there. But I actually really did like Zeus's dialogue with Nami, and I think they can have a pretty interesting dynamic with Zeus wanting to stay and Nami actually being annoyed that her baton became a sentient living being. But by far the funniest part of the chapter was when Zeus asked Nami to give him a new name. And Nami gave like the lamest name you could give Zeus. And Zeus was just like, bitch, what the hell is this? You are not calling me that. So I thought that was a really funny moment. Outside of that though, we have Ulti that appears again and headbutts Usopp. Personally, Ulti is my favorite Toby Roppo member of the bunch, which is another reason why I actually like this chapter. And I just like seeing her on screen. But unfortunately, in this situation, it did feel kind of contrived and plot driven for her to be here. It felt like she was used more of a plot device for Nami to actually test out Zeus rather than her actually being there to achieve anything. Which makes it all the worse if, you know, Ulti's just taken out like this, because it means that Nami won't get a standalone fight in this arc. And, you know, that's if this is in fact the final battle. But I digress. That's the situation we're finding ourselves in. There's not much we could do. Usopp didn't get a fight either. I'm hoping they do at some point because they severely need it. Did Usopp even... Last time Usopp got a like standalone 1v1 fight was Luffy versus Usopp, if I'm not mistaken. So Usopp needs it more than Nami, if I'm being honest. But don't get me wrong, I still think that Nami needs a full-fledged fight as well, because I don't think I can even consider this like altercation as a real fight. Because technically, it wasn't even Nami that beat Ulti, it was Zeus and Big Mom. So I hope that Nami does have some sort of big moment in the future where she actually has her own altercation or fight with another character. Seeing Zeus in action though was pretty cool. However, I think that this power-up makes Nami kind of overpowered in a sense, because she has an Emperor class weapon now in terms of attack power. And although her, you know, physical stats aren't as much as the other Straw Hat crew members, I'd argue, she now has the strength or attack power to rival them. However, I'm not sure how to feel about this exactly, because Nami has always been like the glass cannon. Her fighting style has always been strategic or evasive. But now that she has Zeus, yes, I like that she has more attack power, but Zeus can actually home in on opponents. So that drastically like contradicts with her fighting style, because if Zeus can just follow someone and zap them like that, what's even the point of Nami like running away and having these strategic moments where she needs to figure out how to counter her opponent? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see for that. Beyond that though, we have an interesting detail where the Marys seem to be communicating with Bao Huang, and Bao Huang can actually understand what they're saying, despite them being animals. I thought they were just like relay messengers, but it seems like they have some sort of conscience. So not only can the people with the eye symbols see what the Marys see, but they can also hear or communicate with them, which is pretty interesting. I don't know what the significance behind this could be, and it hasn't really been explored at all, but I thought it was interesting nonetheless. Now we have Bao Huang, who accidentally relays the defeat of Page 1 and Ulti to the entire island of Onigashima, which is great because now I think this is going to have the opposite effect of what was supposed to happen to the Alliance last chapter. I think the morale of the enemy side is actually going to waver, making them more susceptible to our attacks. And not only that, but it's also a big morale boost to the Alliance as well. Then we see a couple reaction shots from the different Beast Pirates and the Toby Roppo, and guess who we see there? Sasaki! Why are you out of your Triceratops form? Why? This could only mean one thing. Your fight is getting off-screen. Oda is off-screen fights. Every day, I'm hoping that Oda knows what he's doing. I believe in Oda, but I just hope, I'm praying that we don't get to see the end of the fights only and just skip everything else. What would even be the point? I want to see a full-fledged fight. I want to see what every member is capable of, but we might not get that, and that scares me. Which is why I'm hoping this isn't the end, because Nami and Usopp will be able to get fights later on, and we will get to see the full fights for all the other Straw Hats too. I just hope that's the case. Please! Please! Then we have Tama, who's gonna relay on the live floor her message to all the gifters on the island, and yeah, yo, whoop-de-doo, the tides of the battle are gonna change again, blah 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 blah. Let's go onward to Yamato. Now this section had some very interesting dialogue, even though it didn't exactly delve into anything regarding Kaido and Yamato's history together. I think we still got a general sense of their dynamic. So it seems like Kaido doesn't even consider Yamato as his child, or his real child I should say, which really begs the question if Yamato is actually Kaido's son or daughter or whatever. It could very well be like a Yasu and Toko situation where Kaido adopts Yamato into his family and trains her, but then again I doubt that, because Kaido would just choose a son if he wanted to adopt someone, so I'm pretty sure they are biologically related, now that I think about it. Yamato says that she wants to sail the seas with Luffy. Now, I think people are jumping the gun and saying, oh my god, next Straw Hat. Okay, she's already said this before, so I don't think this really changes anything. I think she's still a candidate, but it's not hard confirmed or confirmed more in the slightest. She also has some very interesting dialogue where she kind of confirms that Luffy was the person that Oden has been waiting for this entire time. And we know through his dialogue that Oden was always waiting for a person called Joy Boy to arrive. And we know that Yamato read the journal, so this kind of confirms that Luffy is Joy Boy? Or at the very least, that's the kind of belief that Yamato got while reading the journal and made that connection with Luffy. Which begs a question, is Joy Boy not a person of the past, but rather a person of the future? Now this makes things very interesting because remember the Oden flashback in the scene, the iconic scene where Roger laughs and his crew finds the One Piece and they're all laughing. After that, Roger says that Joy Boy, I wish I lived in the same era as you. Perhaps he wasn't referring to a Joy Boy of the past, but a Joy Boy of the future, which is Luffy. That's very interesting because Roger also said that they came too soon, which means that Luffy wasn't born yet. The plot thickens. Another very interesting piece of dialogue comes from Kaido this time, who says that Wano is special. Now why would he say that? Is it because it's closed off to the rest of the world? I doubt that because I don't see any reason for Kaido to care. That means there has to be something tangible. Perhaps an ancient weapon lies there, like Alabasta. Perhaps it has some big significance in the future, or perhaps it has some sort of secret that we are not aware of yet. But like I said in a previous video, I think that Wano will have some big ties to the endgame of the series, and I think Kaido's dialogue is kind of hinting at that here. Only time will tell, but other than that, that's pretty much the chapter. We see Yamato and Kaido finally clash weapons, and unfortunately, that's where the chapter ends. Overall, it was a pretty good chapter. Nothing too crazy. It was just, one of those average Onigashima chapters that we had. It was just enjoyable, had great comedy. I liked the dynamic between Zeus and Nami. I didn't like how Ulti was used as a plot device, but that's whatever. Overall, the chapter was pretty good. I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now, there's also a break next week, which is great. Not that I'm complaining or anything, because Oda has been taking less of them as of late, and I really don't want another Mira situation to happen, so I'm glad that Oda is taking care of himself. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, go down and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more future content like this, and I will see you all very, very soon.